Okay, fair enough. I can see that the game is loading up, though. It's a hell of a map. I mean, what do you think of Elst Outskirts as a map, Stone Tiger Duffy?
You know what? I like it as allies. I don't like it as axes. It's like weird. It has a weird layout, to be honest. Like you can't stick to one side only. You're gonna get flanked out of your boots. It's just axis is just With allies, it's great.
Okay, the game is loaded. Just waiting for it to finalize because obviously I just bug spotted, which was fun. Bum 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 bum. There we go. I'm in. Are you in as well? Has it worked for you?
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in.
Oh, I can't believe it. We have game. Let's get
All
it
the stars have aligned. Let's get ready.
This is the 2 versus 2 Masters Cup.
And here we are in this ace game decider, everybody. It's 1 each on the scores. I'm here in the south with the master of memery and the captain of disaster. It's the chief chaos purveyor and the B4 legend himself. Going as the Brits this time, Baolian, so no B4s. VonIvan is going as the Americans. He's locked in, mechanized yet again. Tell us everything you see in the north. My co-caster, Stern Tiger Gaddafi.
All right, on the other side we got TR Thoton and Lucky, playing as Axis, of course. And Thoton is going OKW while Lucky is going the Vanilla Wehrmacht faction. So this should be.
So we've got to ask this player one question. In that first game, that B4 fired 9 times. Was there a 10th shell loaded? Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? I don't know. Was that funny? I don't know. I thought maybe it was. His name's Lucky. It didn't make any sense. Shut up.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I give
Oh,
you.
that's not mediocre. That's the best we can strive for today. I'm happy with that.
That's good. That's good. You know, I mean.
I did try and zoom in on him whilst I said it. It made sense to me. Anyway, good work by these. Well, nice work indeed by Thoton, putting a good bit of barbed wire there in front of the garrison, stopping the rifleman of VonIvan getting there. So he's gonna have to wait for backup.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get that house and you want to, prevent from capping the VP. And of course, assuming that this barbed wire didn't bug and people cannot magically jump into the building, it's actually a good barbed wire.
Yeah, indeed. It's something to practice, especially in like maps like this one where the garrisons are all important. You will notice, for guys that haven't tuned in, that recently this map has been altered. So these garrisons, namely this one, and further in the south, this one, if I can get my camera steady, they have been nerfed slightly. They've got trees on the one window side, so they're not as powerful. Elsewhere in the south, you can see that Baolian has that covered. You can see that Lucky is forcing his way into position. The Tommies waiting for him. They've got to protect this cutoff. Stone Tiger Daffy. This one in particular is very vulnerable on this map.
Yeah, that's the fuel cutoff, and of course we got Lucky putting an MG into the house. You know, he's gonna harass that cutoff.
And certainly, as Pioneers pushed away there, north side, rear echelons lead the charge. As VonIvan looks to force away these first grenadiers. Will Thoton go for an immediate retreat? He is outnumbered. I know he's going to try and keep the fuel for as long as possible. Every second is manpower cost to keep the opponents at bay.
And of course, 2 squads have retreated now, and it's free fuel now for VonIvan.
An infantry section of Tommies has been trained.
Tommies are being put under heavy pressure. Baolian, by the way, is going for a 4th Tommy squad, so he's going for that kind of trendy style, possibly with an early bolster, maybe just getting that British infantry power on the field and trying to overwhelm your opponent.
Yeah, I must say I'm disappointed by Baolian's faction choice, going for some B-Force, so we can get to have some fun 2 times in a row or 3 times in a row, I guess. But you know,
oh, exactly. 200 viewers out there didn't get to see that happen.
That was such an exciting game.
Oh. Could these riflemen? No, they couldn't focus fire quickly enough. And instead turn their attention to these first grenadiers here. Nice start for both teams, I would say. Oh, the Allies have pushed further on into their opponents' territories. Namely VonIvan, just some great infantry combat going his way.
Yeah, of course, we got a good MG positioning by Lucky. He's gonna chase those riflemen
but
away.
He's had to traverse his arc of fire, though, because the Tommies came for him and did just about get off without losing the all-important machine gunner. Elsewhere in the south, Grenadiers and Tommies in a more fatal battle.
Oh, this Tommy's low. Oh my god, the grenades go.
Oh, it was a nice thought by Lucky, but it was unlucky in its execution.
That could have been an easy wipe.
Could have been. Well retreated there, you got to say, by Baolian. I'm noticing that this guy is a lot more accurate with his retreats than his ranking would suggest. I mean, people often think that VonIvan is the much better player in this team, but Baolian certainly holds his own.
No, if we compare the two players based on their squad preservations, Baolian is much more on point than VonIvan. I have to say,
nice grenade here in the north. He throws it into his path. The cavalry riflemen rush on regardless. VonIvan did not react in time. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sturm Tiger. That for you was... Oh, we've got another situation in the south. Thoton goes for the cap, nearly decapitated by the Welsh engineers, the sappers.
Elsewhere in the north, we got Lieutenant chasing away the Pios, and he's gonna cap that fuel. And we got a big blob coming in the middle on the cutoff.
Oh yeah, trying to get it all back. Blob divides up into squads, and we've got Lucky just backpedaling with his MG, waiting for some cover. That's very good Wehrmacht play. That's what you want to be doing, keeping your MG protected at all times.
Absolutely, and you want to keep it on the field as many minutes as possible before retreating.
Oh, certainly. That's all the gamble you have to take. Meanwhile, Grenadier's in trouble. Oh, you don't want to come against that many riflemen. He has retreated in time, has Lucky. Keep in mind, by the way, that he's on two sides of the battlefield at the same time, Lucky here. He's playing this almost like a 1v1 at the moment, splitting his forces.
Yeah, he's covering for his teammate who went back to the base to keel up. Oh, we got really low Volks Grenadiers getting chased by VET-1 riflemen.
We also get body blocked by their comrades. They're going to need med packs. Oh, they're really just trying to survive here. As Sturm Tiger Gaddafi alluded, he considered this to be an allied map, and I know a lot of people do think there is a somewhat of an allied advantage, so Axis, Thoton and Lucky have really got to survive the early game. We had a squad loss. Where was that, Sturm Tiger? Did you catch it?
It was somewhere in the middle, if I believe it was Grens went down.
Got a few fatalities here. It may have even been on camera. It might have been that my brain wasn't thinking fast enough. What's this from Baolian? We've got the Bofors constructed in the south, just finished now, watching over that victory point. The first squad to see that, if it's out of position, it's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that positioning, to be honest, because there's a lot of leeway for packs to shoot at it. I don't know. We'll see how Axis are going to counter this. And I'll be we got stormtroopers getting
JLIs. Oh no, yes, indeed, they are the stormtroopers. My bad. And they've already been seen by the Bofors. However, the wooden fence is in its way. Now just hit cloak. This is really dangerous by Lucky. Gotta keep an eye on that. Also had a flamer. Half-track pop there. Destroying that Tommy squad. Baolian's got to be careful. Negative cover also. Just going to neutral now, but the 251's harassing. The stormtroopers survive with 2 Soldaten remaining.
Tommy's go down. Tommy's got burnt to crisp.
Good work by the 251. With 4 kills, each of them a member of that former Tommy squad.
Baolian's now to 3 Tommy squads. We'll see how that's going to play out.
They are bolstered, but it would have been much better to have had 4. It's all about maintaining numerical supremacy. When you go for, obviously, 4 Tommies with bolster, it's a heavy investment in manpower and a little bit in fuel that delays your economy. Can you?
Really nice cutoff by Volks Grenadiers. They cut off allies from that fuel.
The done a good job. I mean, the Bofors can't exactly pack up and defend the cut-off now, so it is leaving them exposed through the centre. Obviously, the Axis aren't going to dare push there until they've got heavier firepower. So, yeah, it's made me bad there for Baolian. Really got to try and get something else on the battlefield. Maybe a medium tank to cover for it, but there's a few minutes to go before we'll be able to do that. Meanwhile, we've got the 251 flak half-track and the 251 flamer half-track.
Oh, there's a steward there. I don't know if that flak half-track is going to be able to do any serious damage now.
No, and we've got the threat of a Faust forcing in. 251's going in for the MG and gets it. First Grenadiers will surely take that. It's a really good assault by the Germans. Got G43s also. It's great covering fire. Will the riflemen be able to recapture the MG?
Almost,
no.
Almost. Come on, one more shot. Two more
Those
shots.
strip clips run out of rifle rounds just in the nick of time.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Bit of artillery and desperation. Not going to help, fortunately. The blob is being burnt up. G43. Grenadiers forced away.
We got nice battle in the middle. I mean, these Tommies are really well positioned in cover, getting ready to pound on some retreating units, but...
you know
really
what
nice
loves
suppression.
cover? Flamethrowers.
Yes.
And it's got to really defend, but now the sappers have been forced away. They can no longer keep the Flammenwerfer at bay, and the Tommies have also got to retreat, so the entire tower came crumbling down.
Nice, really nice positioning on the MG right next to the healing. He can reinforce, and that MG was at one point down to one model, but he was able to successfully force and drive the opponent away.
He is the first of many Valentines, and this game is going to go the distance. You can tell that already. It's very competitive. And what I want people in chat to do is guess how many Valentines we'll see in this game. And I'm going to ask you, Sturm Tiger Gaddafi, over, under 4.
I say 3 exactly.
3 exactly. That's how many Valentines. He's going conservative with a small c, and we'll see if that is how many we see. I'm going to say 4 just to be a contradict.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen.
Ooh, we've got a grenade in on the 251 Flamer half track, but the MG is covering. Also, the flak is in position.
Of course, Valentine is charging in.
Oh, he is. He gets his first shot in as well. Is that a mine he's pretending? The Rakanverfer keeps in evade, but then he changes targets, takes out the Flamer half track. He was spoiled for choice for the Valentine.
Half track down. We'll see how this is going to impact the match.
Oh, yes.
This should give Tommy some breathing room.
Looks like the Valentine's early entrance onto the battlefield was a good one indeed. Nice Faust, but no damage, so no damaged engine. Meanwhile, again, the cutoff taken by the Stormtroopers this time.
Yeah, they keep harassing that point. You know, keeps you wondering why Bao put the black hat really there. He could have moved it a little bit to the little bit closer to the house, left to the house, and that would probably give him some more cover against AT, and it would protect the cutoff as well. But
indeed, this of course is Sturm Tiger Gaddafi's first time casting ever. He is a major contributor to the community and a huge fan. And he did just call a Bofors cannon a black half track.
A black half track? What are you saying? I did not say that. Maybe I did. I don't know.
It sounded like it. I'm just joshing you. It's all right. Don't worry.
That's okay. I'll get it right at some point. Give me like 2 years and I'll be the best caster
It's hard
ever,
though,
you know?
isn't it? Right? It's hard. I'm glad you get a chance to do this.
It's extremely hard, man. Like I cannot even. My thoughts are racing. I'm like, what the hell am I saying?
I spent the entirety of yesterday drinking from 10 a.m. in the morning. We're on a stag do.
Yeah,
you call them bachelor parties, don't you, in America?
Yeah. You went to a bachelor party?
Can't really call my dad a bachelor. He's 50 years old, but yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, I met your dad in London, right? And
you
his,
did? No, in Leicester. That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not Leicester, Manchester. That's right. Anywho.
Back
I
to the
was
game.
marrying that woman you met. That's you met her
Yeah,
as well.
I
I
met her
made
as
sure
well.
I introduced them to you. I was like, you've got to meet Big Daddy G, Sturm Tiger Gaddafi. Anyway, back to the game. You're right. We've got 500 odd viewers. wanting to see this action, and they are seeing it. They just need us to talk about it. Cavalry Rifleman doing a decent job. We've got 7 kills. Trying to get into action. It's the flak half-track that's keeping them at bay for the time being. They see it and they reconsider their approach. But you got to say, Stumzai Gaddafi, I mean, the allies, Baolian and VonIvan, the comeback kings after losing that first game by a big margin. They're assaulting in a big way now. Baolian taking a leaf out of VonIvan's book. He's getting around the pack. It can't reposition in time, and there's no fast. He takes it out. Meanwhile, in the centre, Foes Grenadiers are trying to do something about the Major, but they've got a major problem in the north because the Cavalry Riflemen, well, they've been able to get rid of them, and the flak half-track watches on. We've also got Foes Grenadiers getting into position on their retreat path. Do we have any chance for grenades? No, not quite.
We had a nice flank by rear echelon, and they chased that MG away, possibly saving some lives of the retreating riflemen. Up north.
Nice work, and looks like they've gotten the Pack 40 back quite easily. The Tommies couldn't get there in time. Here it comes again, though. The Valentine was on the south edge of the map, on the beach resort, taking some R&R, and he's back really quickly. First pack shot misses. Ooh, look in the centre. A great flank by forces in numbers, stormtroopers and Foes Grenadiers. This game is heating up in a big way.
Yeah, we got artillery up on that emplacement of Axis pack.
Oh, definitely. That defensive position unrooted and pushed away. And stormtroopers were uncovered in their hiding position. Will the Bofors take them out?
Stormtroopers are in trouble. They're about to go down.
Zombies as well.
Stop those.
How is that guy living? How is he living through that? Meanwhile, let's check out the cutoff. Stormtroopers die there to the riflemen. They do take it and they do keep it for a considered amount of time. That is a big fuel penalty, but there's a huge manpower casualty for the Axis.
And of course, we got a flak half-track getting parked on the cutoff. I don't think he's going to be able to get
rid of that for the time being. But here comes the M4A3 fresh out of the factory. He's going for it. Detroit's finest. Misses its shot. No, it doesn't. The scatter takes it out. Rakettenwerfer watches on. Punishes it, but the damage was done. Here comes the Valentine to add to the problem. Baolian and VonIvan have truly woken up now, and they're making their presence felt as both support weapons go down.
Both support. Now it's a clear pathway to the middle. But of course there's an MG. Really nice support weapon positioning by Lucky. He's really on point. Of course, Pack is aiming for the Sherman, but misses.
Oh, yeah. Also, Foes Grenadiers and MG34 just keep that northern position, keeping the German players in the game, quite frankly, because got a concerted amount of pressure and chaotic, frenzied attack from Baolian and VonIvan. They've made some major manpower casualties. Meanwhile, Pyrotechnic infantry section dying to those G43 rifles, perhaps. Oh, how did he get away with that?
I guess Lucky.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you would like to see some indirect fire by allies. A mortar could be a good unit here, or Pack Howitzer, perhaps. You want to try to move these. You want to try to force the Axis to move their support weapons a little bit, because they're really on point and they're protecting every single. Oh my God, the MG goes down up north.
It does indeed, and the riflemen are going to be able to take it, but they may target the Stern Pioneer first. They're getting in position to do just that now. Nice incendiary grenade thrown by Thoton, but it's probably an inefficient one. They're just going to let it burn out and take the weapon anyway.
Pioneers are in trouble up north, but they're going to survive.
Valentine makes a foray into the centre, but well scouted by the Stormtroopers and allowing the Pack an easy shot there. Allies do have the northern victory point. They do have the southern. So they now, for the first time in this game, there is an actual victory point lead. It may only be of 60-odd victory points, but there may be the small green shoots starting to show for Baolian VonIvan victory, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely deserve it, you know. It's they have been forcing their opponents to back to their base a lot, and they've been covering the ground pretty well, and they're really in a good position to secure the victory and proceed to the next round.
Yeah, I've certainly got to say though, the Axis players have been great at counter-punching, finding really good weaknesses in the offensive lines of their opponents and being able to get around them. We've got our first tank out for the Axis. It is a Panzer IV just hitting the field now, so this Valentine's got to be careful. Meanwhile, Faust go in. Pack 40 is surely going to take out the Valentine. Tommy's watch on with those Leonfield rifles firing, but there you go, Valentine's down and out.
Yeah.
Of course, Baolian has more than enough fuel, and we've also got artillery now down on that position.
Now, Pac positioning has been on point for Lucky. He has been able to deter every single armored threat thus far, and then, you know, he killed finally the Valentine.
The center is the Axis territory, but the north and the south is currently in Baolian VonIvan's hands as we see a veritable battle of the bulge unfold. Panzer IV goes straight in there. We've got a stolen Rakettenwerfer for Baolian, who's having an excellent game. VonIvan's having a great game also. All players are now cooking on all cylinders, it seems. Firing.
Yeah. Say what you want about VonIvan, but this guy learns really quickly. After that disastrous first game with USF, he's playing much better now in the third deciding game.
Rakettenwerfers. Oh, will they get shots off on the Sherman? One shot, two shot. Yes, they will. Panzerfaust perhaps. There it is. Will the French Grenadiers live to tell the tale? Yes, they will. Many questions been asked, and Thoton having what it takes to survive at this point in time. But if these 3 victory points stay in Allied control, it won't be for too long.
Now, of course, Panzer IV is getting repaired, getting down to 3/4 of health.
Again with the concentration barrage as well. Ah, I see what Lucky does now. He pushes on, he sees the flare. It's a good play by him. Now he leaves these support weapons a little bit vulnerable now to flanking, of course. Elsewhere in the south, nice positioning by the Tommies of Baolian. Just absolutely dominating all territories now, except those immediately outside Thoton and Lucky's base. Obersoldat and watch on. These experienced warriors are urging their comrades into battle. They're being met with mortar fire.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, they're being met with mortar fire and absolutely desolated there. That is horrendous. That was the howitzer motor carriage getting the kill. The Scot absolutely annihilating that Savage squad, and Thoton has dropped from the game and been replaced by AI. I think I know what's happened there.
Did we get a crash?
We must have done. I'm just taking a screenshot. I know it wasn't exactly in time, but I took a screenshot just in case it helps anybody. But oh wow, yeah, there you go. Thoton's dropped from the game, and Baolian and VonIvan. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into refereeing issues, but you know, as a caster, I would consider this game. It certainly looks like it has everything to play for. So we'll have to see what happens.
I don't know.
On the refereeing side of things.
He may have just gotten upset and just left the game or for something because of
it's unlike. I mean, we don't know the guy, in fairness, do we? I mean, you are right. Of course, there was that horrendous piece of bad luck there.
Yeah. I mean, that really set him back with the Obersoldat. You know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he just got upset and left. And of course,
yeah,
Lucky leaves as well. Ring the bell. This one's over.
Oh yes, it is.
This is the 2 versus 2 Masters Cup.
Clive. There we go. That's unfortunate, but it can happen.
They were on a back foot, pedaling to survive, and I just think Thoton has just said this one's over. You know what? I'm just gonna preserve my energy for the next tournament.
Just speaking to the referees, give me a moment. Sometimes like that, if you feel free to talk to chat and stuff.
All right, folks, vote now. Was it a buck splat or was it a blatant disregard for his teammate and leaving the game? Which one was it? Rage quit. Orange Pest said rage quit. Oh, Senor Sipan is here. Hola, my friend. ¿Cómo estás?
I like it.
The most entertaining stream by Mr. Sipan in a while. I haven't seen more entertaining stream. Check him out, folks.
What happens in his streams?
Well, a lot of content, I must say. He put a lot of good games in place, and he does a lot of funny sounds and whatnot. Like you can trigger it. It's just ridiculous.
I like that.
He
Does he
created.
rage, or is he just kind of chill and he makes
No,
strange sounds?
he is chill. He is cool guy, man. He's just
Yeah.
chill. Like he usually streams at night, my time, and it's like you come home from like ridiculous day and you just want to relax, and that's like the stream that I go to. He created my own command that like shows my face with like singing voices, and it's just fun stream. Just check him out. I can't even explain it.
So yeah, we've got a lot of viewers in chat, of course, all enjoying that decisive game 3. 628 viewers. Wow, it's not even the final stream or anything. For a really old game like this, that's a pretty good count, you know?
Yeah. You got to question the resilience of now. 3 games. How are they gonna cope with some excellent competition?
So you got Suntai Gaddafi, you've been a big fan of this series for a very long time. I mean, how long exactly? What are the first tournaments you remember?
Oh, good lord. Probably some invitationals way back in the day, Vico days.
Are we talking way back, like
All-Star invitationals. I remember some of the stuff that Greatness and what's her friend put in. Those are some 2v2 tournaments. I've been playing this game since like 2006 or so. So I can't really say, but I remember those as my first sort of tournaments that I started watching closely.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Friday night fights, Sunday night fights, Justin says. I think it was originally Saturday night fights and then Sunday night. I think it was Saturday and then they changed to
with
Sunday.
A and what's his name, Yoink?
A, did you
No,
say?
no, not
Ami
A.
Pulsai Funk.
Ami, not A.
Fully transcended now. There we go.
Yeah, the beer is kicking in.
Are you drinking beer at this time?
Yeah,
for the
man.
Weekend?
You know what? It's you got two good teams beating the shit out of each other. You got B-Force blowing up. It's Sunday. You know what? I got up at 10 o'clock, got plenty of sleep. We got some beer, best seat in the house. What else can you want?
So, for those that don't know, if it was a bug splat, I don't want to say any definites yet because I want to allow the referees to do their thing. So first, the rules state that first of all the bug splat needs to be verified. So like screenshots and stuff like that checked. But then we're trialing a new system, which basically bases itself off 2 historical games: VonIvan versus DevM Game 3, GCS 1 2017, and then again DevM, but him not bug splatting. DevM and Helping Hands versus Refuro and Love Nest in the quarterfinals of the Anniversary Classic, where Refuro got a disconnect to the server at a vital moment. Objectively speaking, or subjectively speaking, you can kind of say that both of those games were kind of over. Like, there was barely any comeback potential whatsoever. So we basically built, like, a generator based on win conditions and stuff that takes everything into account, like fuel, manpower, veterancy, amount of territories captured at that point in time, just to mean that if a game is really pretty much over, the referees can just say we've got objectivity here, we've ran everything through this calculation, and it says the game should have been over at that point. And I know that's kind of crappy, but you have to deal with the hand you're dealt in life. And if we just replayed every single bug splat game, sometimes tournaments would go on forever. So yeah, that's what we're kind of trialing that, and we'll see how it goes.
Have we de facto determined what was happening?
I don't want to say, to be honest. I predict it was a bug splat, but I just don't want to say. I don't want to get involved, quite frankly. The rules should kind of work. The great thing about rules is they should lead to no drama and no subjectivity, and no kind of like debate. If rules are good, they should just work, and then the competitive spirit of the players takes center stage. I hate it when things devolve down into like debates on and stuff, and people like talking about organization. Like, the players should be the guys we talk about in the awesome games. So hopefully that is just a bug splat and we find a result very quickly.
Yeah, what would you do in case of bug splat? Not sure about the rules.
Yeah, I just went through them. I can understand that you're tired, though. Obviously, it's very difficult casting and stuff. As I say, so first of all, the bug splat's verified, and then it goes through we're trialing a new equation thing that like figures out basically was the game like over, and we've got precedents we've used based off that. It sounds complicated, but I could show you on screen, but it's not fully ready yet, I don't think. We're just kind of trialing it in this tournament. We want to get it like really good for the future. Well,
Yeah,
it's something boring to talk about, I guess, but you know.
No, I mean it's important in a competitive setting that you have a determined way to figure out these problems. You know, it's just
certainly, and it's good for me because I'm not actually like reffing this tournament or anything like that. I just get to sit back and like offer my spreadsheet help.
Yeah.
So it's like basically like if statements that kind of works out based on all the parameters. It's kind of cool. I'll showcase it when it gets ironed out and stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the game, of course, and let's look at the brackets and see what development we've had. I'm going to remove my face from the screen. It's a bit redundant. So obviously we're waiting for the referees to decide what happened in that game. We're in the ace game at the moment. Winner of that plays VonIvan and Isilda. On bottom right quadrant, Brosras Artovic versus Stuve and Captain S. Price. It's a very spicy series there. Who do you expect to emerge victorious, Tim Tiger Duffy?
Oof. This is a close one. You know what? I have no idea.
Really?
I just don't know. To be honest, like both are great teams. I mean, Stu and Captain S. Price have been practicing for a while. Brosras and Artovic have been around for a while as well, playing together, and Brosras is one of the top 2v2 players. I just don't know. To be honest, I couldn't even take a guess.
Can confirm that Helping Hands and Crossfire have emerged victorious against the Warriors that are Justin and Beichi. I saw that Beichi was saying in chat well played to both of them, so that's good sports personship. Top left side, we haven't covered it that much, but Nagano Scotch a 1-0 up against Asher Blah Asia Mentas, the most successful 2v2 team of all time. You'd expect nothing less.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Ed 80 Hertz for sub-gifting Darth Plebius, the lesser known of the Sith elite. They ever tell you the story about Darth Plebius the Unwise? So yeah, thanks to that, he's now got access to a range of very mediocre emotes. So congrats. Just gonna check out what the refs are saying. Got radio silence on that front.
Von Asten and Isildur are hoping and praying to RNG Jesus that game gets repeated because they want to put as much pressure on these guys and just mop them up in the next round.
Well, I suppose the good thing about it is I think there's like a 15-minute, 20-minute wait when there's bug splat to figure out what happened. And I suppose that kind of like compensates for the tiredness of having to replay if they have to replay.
Yeah, I mean, these games, especially in tournament setting, are hard. They take a toll on you. It's just you're mentally drained, physically. Sometimes it's just.
I've played competitively like maybe 20 times in like a scrim, and I'm a very competitive guy, and the fatigue and the tiredness that concentrating that hard for 50 minutes gave me, it was brutal. I have so much respect for people that try and play this game legitimately competitively. It's wow. It's a feat. It is a true feat.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you gotta give credit to some of these guys, especially the better ones that are in this tournament. Like these guys played the game like really, really much, and they just built up the stamina over time, and they can go for days. You know, unlike you and I that play this game only occasionally. It's kind of hard to get us in a competitive setting and expect us to perform well in like a couple of games.
Big compliment from Jan252, the coding master of the community, saying, I thought you had peaked your spreadsheet game. Nope, that's looking pretty slick. And he doesn't give compliments out very often, so that's a very good one from him.
Man, Jan is a legend. Jan is a legend, man. Give a shout out to Jan. This guy's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm just going to now obviously link to his and I's work last year. I'd say like 70% of his work, because he is a coding legend, and he made this incredible website last year for GCS2, and that's what brackets. That's the best brackets you'll ever see. They're so sexy. They represent the biggest tournament we've ever had in the community, and all the replays are present in the files. You can like look into it all. You can see what happened. I'll bring up on the monitor so you don't all have to do it. And that represents a weekend-long epic tournament that Sturm Tiger Gaddafi and I were graced with to watch it unfold. And yeah, it's just everything here is awesome. One of the best things you could ever do with your lives, if you've never actually done it and you're a fan of this game, is just sit down one day and just watch some of these games and follow them on the brackets and just glory and revel in it, because there's a lot of things that we've achieved this community, like Jan252's made cheat mods and stuff like that, and everybody's like added so much. But I think as a competitive community, like this was our magnum opus, if you will. So that I'm so counting Sturm Tiger Gaddafi and everybody that made it possible, Tightrope and Stormless and all the great referees like Ipkai Fung. I really feel like a whole team of people came together to make it all happen. So, well, it's cool. It's cool to reminisce about.
I think you're cutting yourself short. I mean, just organizing that took a lot of energy and just creating the experience for everyone. I think it was just awesome. I mean, it's like meeting those guys that you shit talk over the games. Meeting them in real life is just priceless, or was priceless, And I still talk to a couple of guys even on WhatsApp. So it was a really good experience.
And of course, Ed and George of 80 Hertz as well. It's a very difficult when you got hangover to remember everybody. Of course, no offense, Ed. Ended. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I hope that in the future, like if we get future co-games, we get like proper sponsored tournaments and like Relic and Sega doing big things. That'd be awesome. But in the meantime, let's I'm going to check in with the rest now. We're going to go to a wait screen just so I can get a little bit of information on what's happening, and I'll relay it to you, the viewers, if it's official. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and then hopefully we'll have the ace game decided in no time. Just need to figure out if it's a replay or if a win has been awarded. Thank you, and see you in a sec, dudes. Bye.